My goal is no longer to get more done, but rather to have less to do. Okay, so that's not my line. That's Francine J in her book, The Joy of Less. But it's the perfect sentiment for this video, the 100th video on this channel. To celebrate, it's a classic YouTube chop. It's a classic YouTube, that's really hard to say. It's a classic YouTube top 5. Hi, it's Simon. Today, from ideas to tools and tech, in this video I'll share my favourite tips for living a life by design, not by default, in 5 categories. They are the productivity solutions that have helped me to work less, do more, and have more time for what matters since I started this channel. Or to put it even more simply, I accidentally turned working out how to live better into a job by making videos about it, so you might as well benefit from it. Thank you to my go-to non-fiction book summary tool Shortform for sponsoring a portion of this video, but more on that later. Over the past 2 years, the world and many of our lives have changed a huge amount. I went from the daily grind of freelance work and London commuting to working from home, an open schedule, and turning YouTube into a business. It meant I reorganised my time, money, and priorities. It means I have more freedom, but also a lot less structure and accountability. Working solo can be a blessing and a curse. I can easily be distracted, too easily blur the boundaries between work and home, and then either overwork or just fall into endless procrastination. So here are the solutions to staying productive whilst keeping a happy life balance. Number 1, train yourself to consistently get started. Procrastination is the enemy of action, my friends. You recognise this, I'm sure. And waiting for motivation to appear is apparently just not the answer. How many of these do you recognise? This is definitely me at some point in the recent past. I'll do it tomorrow. I work better on a deadline. I'm not feeling motivated, but when I do feel motivated, I'll do this job much better. Our abilities to put things off is built into our human nature. We are wired to approach or avoid. And as humans, when we avoid the painful, difficult, scary stuff. Have a read of The War of Art by Steven Pressfield, because he brilliantly calls it the resistance. We avoid the negative emotions by delaying and avoiding, whether due to fear, anxiety, or whatever else. The choice to avoid or approach is hardwired into us then, and it's why expert Dr. Tim Pitchell describes procrastination as an emotion-focused coping strategy. Here's a perspective he shared on Ali Abdul's Deep Dive podcast recently that might just be the key to start us all rewiring. Motivation, he said, should follow action, not the other way around. If we make even a little bit of progress on a goal, it fuels our well-being, and that's when we intersect with motivation. I think that's really cool, and I'm going to start thinking differently about how I get started. Start by identifying the smallest, simplest first next action you need to take. Rather than setting goals such as do a daily yoga practice, just focus on stepping onto the mat in the morning. Making tasks seem really super small makes a really powerful shift to break things into smaller chunks and then actually step forward. Go further by setting an implementation intention. This means concretely linking a time and place with a behaviour. For example, maybe you want to build that consistent yoga practice. So you say to yourself, when I turn the kettle on in the morning, then I lay the yoga mat out and step onto it. When then. More on overcoming procrastination soon on the channel, so I'd probably say the next action you should take is a sub to the channel, right? Number 2, optimize your workflow and make space for work and rest. Managing your time doesn't mean time blocking your entire calendar by the minute and then sticking to that carefully planned out 23-minute nap between jobs, although I do like a power nap. It means finding ways to help yourself set boundaries between work and play, focus better when you do work, and designing efficiency and redundancy into your work life where you can invest in what matters. So ask, what is slowing you down at the moment? What can you simplify or improve? These are my top tools and bits of tech for doing just that. Design your environment. Designing your workspace so that it's both a calmer and clearer place to be is great for our well-being when working, but designing for more frictionless functionality is also key. Keep all your most used tools within an arm's reach. This will minimize context switching. Give everything a proper home and you'll spend less time finding it. Check out my desk setup tour for video inspiration on that one. Consider learning your shortcuts on your computer. This will just speed up and make easier every task that you get involved with. Whilst it might be a bit of an investment to learn the systems, once you've done it, everything gets easier after. And on that note, do the same designing your digital space as you would your desk space. Building an organized digital system to store your ideas, tasks and information in a way that makes it easy to capture, refine and use more of what you learn, and process it into output is really powerful. If you're new here, I use Notion as my digital second brain. I have Notion templates and video tutorials that can help you join that second brain revolution if you haven't yet, so check them out in the links after this. So number 3, always be seeking new ways of thinking. Continuing a habit of lifelong learning and discovering new concepts are the key to continuing our self-development and building a life by design, not by default. You don't know what you don't know. But whilst I read a lot, I just don't have time to cover and discover everything I want to in order to find that gold. The tool, therefore, that has most improved that process for me is today's sponsor, Shortform. After trying a few, I think they are the world's best non-fiction book summary tool, and they've even introduced a direct sync with my favourite tool, Notion. More on embracing automations in the next section. So Shortform summarizes the key ideas of a book through condensed views, and it's not only saved me time and money in finding what I want, but it's helped me go further faster in discovering powerful knowledge to feed into work, life and business before choosing to read that full book if it's right for me. Okay, the app is not intended though for replacing the reading of books, but it has truly helped me discover powerful ideas, new books and authors that are right for me, and go deeper with interactive reflections and exercises to engage in the content. I've also found Shortform to be a great way to recap key ideas on books I read a while ago. I used it for this video to look back at Stephen Pressfield's The War of Art. There's always a one-pager covering the main ideas as a whole, then chapter by chapter summaries in detail. But my favourite thing is that Shortform goes further building on book ideas by suggesting alternative viewpoints and sources in Shortform notes. For example, that might have been published since, meaning you continue to get the full picture of a subject and discover other perspectives. It helped me discover a range of great books I hadn't heard of on the subject of procrastination, moving through the now habit through to willpower. It's been really great. So if you're like me and want to deepen your understanding in subjects like self-improvement, productivity or entrepreneurship, give Shortform a try through my special link, shortform.com/bettercreating, which gives you a 5-day unlimited access and 20% discount off the annual subscription when joining. That's essentially 2.5 months free. New books and guides are published every week, and as a member, you will be able to vote on what's covered next. So number 4, as promised, embrace automation tech. I was scared of this for a while because, well, it seemed way too complex, but modern automation tools are surprisingly accessible once you start investigating them. Why use them? Well, simple answer, the more you can make yourself redundant in running your own life, the more there is time to live it. Now, consider the tasks you do regularly. How many steps do they have? What friction do you experience in doing them? How could you reduce those things or hand these things off to a system? Using services like Readwise and Save to Notion is a great place to start that have helped me automatically funnel all the Kindle highlights, tweets, podcast clippings, web articles into my Notion Knowledge Hub. Taking time to set a system like this up is so powerful in holding on to great ideas and storing them for yourself without putting the effort in. You could also try embracing tools like Zapier or Bardian.ai to automate what used to be regular admin tasks into automatic sequences. Now, for example, when someone downloads a Notion template from my Gumroad page, Gumroad manages the whole process, sends an automated follow-up email, Zapier invites them to my email list on review, and then shares the income report, if there is one, to Xero, so that the bookkeeping is done automatically. Amazing. Simplify your communication. In the spirit of automation, meeting management can be automated to eliminate the trivial admin process itself. For example, I use Calendly, which allows people to book a meeting that suits them based on my Google Calendar availability. It then sets up a Zoom meeting, emails us both with the link, and we are all set. What used to be weeks of back and forth is now a simple please just book in a time that works for you. Programs like Alfred or Raycast, or even using a Stream Deck, allows you to set up shortcuts to quickly insert repeated email responses or more quickly find information, or one-click desktop setups for Zoom calls that launch webcams, web apps, note pages, and all the like. And setting up a permanent out of office reply was one of the best things I did this year, inspired by a rereading of Tim Ferriss's classic, The 4-Hour Workweek. An auto response can allow you to batch your time on email once a day or even less if your auto response manages expectations and offers solutions. The thing is, once we're in the habit of replying immediately, people expect it and the pressure to maintain that service becomes unreasonable. Tim's example is a great place to start, modeling your own. There it is again. The more you can make yourself redundant in running your own life, the more time there is to live it. And here we are, number 5, perhaps the most important one: carve out focused time. It's always good practice to aim at setting a single task for half a day of work, and then to carve out real time for deep work in it. My favorite approach to doing that is using the Pomodoro technique. You might have heard of it. If you use a Stream Deck for productivity like me, there's actually a really great plugin you can use on it. I also recommend the Minimalist app for iPad or iPhone, a simple minimalist to-do list with a built-in Pomodoro counter, which is actually really good. Some people call these things focus sprints, but it's simply a set chunk of focus time on a single task with rhythmic breaks. I find this is the best way to get the important stuff done. The quality of my work is definitely better for it. More often than not, I leave feeling like I've actually done something meaningful. So give it a go if you haven't. So what next? I recommend clicking here for more on how to design your spaces to make your life easier and more productive in the process. Or you might want to check out my full Notion setup tour for a life operating system that totally changed how I get things done. It would be great if you subscribed, amazing if you left a comment. I'll see you there. Bye.